Well, my Yaya lived at 223 Brighton Avenue, and Thea lived at 225 Brighton Avenue. And it was a house, it was a duplex with just a low wall. And my mother was on one side with my Uncle Basil, and they actually had an older sister named Emma, who died when she was 9. And there was Bubby and Olga and Kay and Nikki and Georgie on the other side. And they were one big family. When I was little, I thought Thea was a name like Susie or something. And later I learned it meant aunt. What I remember is that my mother, I'll tell you one little story, because she said, I think it was Kay and Nikki shared a bed. Did they? And they'd get in fights. So one would have her head this way and the other her head that way, and then they'd fight about their feet. When I was a little girl, I used to say, well, Mom, do their feet stink on the face? Anyway, there were these mythical 5 cousins of my mother. Anyway, then we grew up, and what happened was Aunt Bubby and Uncle Mike would come to Rehoboth every summer with Georgie and Maria. I think your little hotel was called the Seahorse, and we loved that. And you seem to come to Washington every year, too. And it was the same thing. What I loved about you, you were a challenge. We were a little bit afraid of you, but we wanted to pretend that we weren't. So we would meet the challenge. We thought you had opinions. You were a little bit bossy. You teased us, and you loved my father, because my father was a big tease. So the two of you. And you told us what you thought. And like you would say, you looked great if I looked great, or you said you were being an imp if I was being an imp. I remember you told me I needed to hang up the towel in the bathroom straight, that I wasn't doing a good job. And I remember walking across the beach in Rehoboth, and you said, where are your flip-flops? So you were tough, you were smart, you were fun, you were vivacious, you are vivacious, you are alive, and we really respected you. And when my mother died, I was always looking for surrogate mothers. So there was Aunt Nikki, and there was you, and there's Aunt Kay. And you were all wonderful, and you were all sisters. And Aunt Bubby and I now, I fly into New York from France, and so I think it's been going on 4 years. I see you for dinner, and we talk on Skype now, and I love it. And I just want you to know that you're one of my most treasured relationships that I have, before and today. I love you.
Thank you very much. Heck, I've only known her for 3 hours, and I'm scared of her. Here's Bubby's great niece, Kathy Mazinis Badanovic. Kathy, come on down. I may know these Greek words by the time we're done tonight.
Thank you. And Bubby, it's an absolute honor to be here, because I wasn't here for your 80th. So I'm so happy I'm here for your 90th. And I wanted to share my favorite Maya Angelou quote. I've learned that we may forget what people say, we may forget what people do, but we never forget how people make us feel. And Aunt Bubby has always made me feel loved, included, and part of the family. Because as my dad mentioned, we weren't very close when I was growing up. But because of Aunt Bubby, in 1986, when I was off to Paris for a big adventure, she put me in touch with my cousin Jane, who I hadn't really known. And I'm so grateful to you for that, because Jane is my soul sister. And because of Jane, I have a beautiful godson, Jack Alexander. But your biggest accomplishment, Bubby, are your 2 children. And both of your children, Georgie and Maria, are healers. They're healers in different ways. They heal people. They make people's lives better. And so, what an accomplishment. I love you. I'm so proud to be here. I'm so proud to be related to you. And happy 90th birthday.
Thank you very much. Now, Bubby's oldest friend from work, Muriel. Where are you, Muriel? Gilgan? Muriel.
Right here.
Here she is. Everybody's prepared. That's great. You wrote everything down tonight. Okay?
I would like to share some memories of my friendship with Demetria. The first word that came to my mind was friend. When I met Demetria, we were about 20 years old. That was about 20 years ago. We were working together. She was my supervisor. She was a little bossy. When Bubby and I became acquainted and formed a friendship, I found her to be a true friend. We have maintained this friendship through the fun times and the difficult times, and this is one of the most wonderful times. So my wish for my dear friend, good health, happiness, all God's blessings, and for you, Bubby, thank you from me for all the wonderful years of our friendship and looking forward to many more.
Thank you. I'm curious. What did you folks do? What did she do? What industry? Western Electric. Okay. How about that? All right, Bubby's lifelong friends, granddaughter. Let's see. Lifelong. Where's Allie? Saholos, is that right, Allie? Oh, my limbo lady. I still don't have anything for you, though.
All right. I talk really fast. Hopefully I adhere to your rules. And I put together just a few words. Okay, so when Aunt Maria asked me to say a few words for this evening, I first of all was, of course, honored, but then I immediately thought, okay, stop it. How do you talk about such a fabulous woman in just a few short minutes? So here's my attempt. Aunt Bubby, first of all, happy birthday. We are all so excited to be celebrating this incredible milestone with you. The memories I've had in my slice of your life with you have been, to me, immeasurable. When I think of all the family holidays and gatherings we've spent together, the first thing that comes to mind is how much you light up the room. Your energy and spirit are truly one of a kind. There are many of us in this room who call each other family. The interesting thing about this family is technically we don't all share the same blood. But it's this family, you, Aunt Maria, and Uncle George, who I feel so connected to. While some may say that maybe our proximity is the reason why, having grown up in New Jersey and spending my college years up in Syracuse, I would disagree. The friendship and support you have given me, and I know so many others in this room, is unmatched. You've created an amazing family foundation for my generation and our future years together. We all cannot thank you enough. So after reminiscing on our life and writing down my, as to be expected, emotional reflections, I thought what better to do than to end my 2+ minutes with a poem. So I have titled it, Aunt Bubby. Your friends and family are here to celebrate your 90th year. To master 4 square years and 10 is quite an impressive feat, but to do it in Cape May is an extra special treat. You're a true inspiration, a shining example to us all. You show us how to make the most of life and live it to the full. You're the matriarch and soul who makes our family feel whole. It's no surprise you are far beyond the common sway. That's why we're here today. I can't think of a better way to celebrate than to dance the night away. So raise your glasses and let's say cheers to Aunt Bubby. Here's to 90 years.
Thank you, Allie. Steve, come on down. Finally, Bubby's son, George. We have one more after George. So, George, come on down. Where are you, George? Come on over. And he's, you know, he's the nicest, best dressed guy here tonight. Would you agree?
And if you look at all the pictures around, you'll realize I got that from my mother. Well, this will be very hard for me to get by without shedding some tears. But I'm going to give it a go. Believe it or not, what I learned the most from my mother, I learned in the last year. On November 3rd of 2013, I went down to see my mother, who had been sick for over a month and a half to be exact. And I realized, and I thought for sure, that she was days or hours away from dying. She was in miserable pain. She had a very bad infection in her back. And she actually asked me to close the door, leave her alone in the bedroom, and come back in 5 days. I don't know if you remember that. And I decided that that couldn't happen, and that she had to come up to where I was in Rochester, and that if she was going to die, she was going to at least die comfortable and in no pain. And I brought her to Rochester. Because I was fairly sure she was going to die, and she did not know that. The physicians that I enlisted to help me when I got there all said the same thing. A couple of days, and all I had asked is that we relieve her of her pain, which we were able to do through an extraordinary effort. And as soon as her pain was relieved, the Bubby that we all know and love came back, strong and hard. We treated the infection. She lost more than half of the blood in her body because she had been under such stress that her stomach lining gave way. Her kidneys failed, her heart failed, and somehow she persevered and survived it all. And really, her example of perseverance and strength is an example to all of us. Now, interestingly, although this is supposed to be a tribute to my mother, in fact, what my sister doesn't realize is that my sister is incredibly like my mother in some aspects. And because my mother's perseverance to live was so strong, and her perseverance to do everything in life is so strong, we're all here tonight because of my sister's perseverance. Her perseverance. And so I'd like to say something to my sister. I don't know, where is she? Where is Maria? Yeah, good. I want to say something to Maria, but I want to say it to her in Greek.
Not fair.
Well, I'm going to say it to her in Greek, and let's see if I can get through it. Η αδελφή μου έχει την καλύτερα καρδιά από όλας μας. Αλλά πιο σημαντική είναι η αδελφή μου έχει την πολύτερα μανία για την οικογένεια μας και για τους φίλους μας. And so I have to translate it for everyone that doesn't speak Greek, and I really have to translate it for my sister. By the way, Iskalitsamu, how did I do? Was that okay? Yeah, that was good. Anybody else that speaks Greek there, I hope that it was. So I'll try to roughly translate it. And what it says is, what I said was, Maria has the biggest heart of all of us. But more importantly, my sister has the biggest mania. The Greek word for mania in Greek, the translation is mania, but it's not mania, it is passion. That my sister has the biggest passion of all of us for family, for our family, and for our friends. So in closing, I would like to say that it's amazing how similar my sister is to my mother, who I both love dearly. Thank you.
Thank you, George. And Keely.
George was the last.
I have one more here. Kaylee, where's Kaylee?
But George was supposed to be the last. So
No,
George is the last.
we added one. Maria added one.
But not before George. Let's finish.
Are we all done? Okay. Here's something very special for you now, and I think probably Maria